Hi, I wanted to play around with my pumpkin coaster set. I wanted to do something more Halloween, more fun, so I thought we'd add glow powders and just see what kind of effect we can get. I am using today Ultra Clear Epoxy Art and Craft Epoxy. They make a really great bar top, strong epoxy, and that just stands to reason that these coasters would be really great. So it's a thicker viscosity resin. So I'm using it slightly different for the crackle effect. I'm not letting it warm up. I mixed together about 14 ounces. I put 6 ounces in here, and then I put about, I would say 2.5, 3 ounces in these, and then about 2 ounces in this cup. I'm trying to divide them in the right way to get the right quantities for my mica powder to liquid ratio. In my big cup, this is going to be the resin that helps create the effect. I am using Octopus Fluids Resin Ink Pumpkin for this, and there is a good amount in here. So I'm going to start right off with 8 drops. Actually, let's just do 10 because I know that's not going to be enough. All right, let me grab a stick. Now, when working with a thicker viscosity resin, you are going to have more bubbles. So it requires a little bit more work. It's more to mix it, more to mixing colors. It's not as easy as your thinner viscosity resins to work with. Most tabletop resins are a thicker viscosity, and I think it has something to do with the hardness rating. It is usually much harder. My gloves are squeaking on the plastic cup. All right, so I wanted to get this one mixed right away before we do our other colors because this is our base layer. So I want to start getting it in the molds, but what I forgot to mention is I used these bits in the stems because I want the stems to shine a bit. So I put that in the stems. All right, so now I'm going to put a little bit in each mold. And if I don't use this all, great. If I do, I do. It is like syrupy. What I'm trying to do is put a base layer in the molds. And because it's going to move slowly, I figured we'd get this started and then start mixing our other colors together. Just trying to guess how much I should put for each. All right, I'm gonna leave it go at that while we're mixing our other colors. So I'm also gonna have another just extra in case I need it of the pumpkin. And I'm gonna do this one a little bit stronger. I'm gonna do 4 drops in this small amount. Just making sure it's mixed together and not stringy. Sometimes I don't mix them together great, and as long as it's not too bad, you really can't tell, but we do try to mix them together well. And just get a wipe because I'm already getting resin all over my hands, and I don't want resin all over my bottles when I go back later to organize them and they stick to my hand. All right, so next I am going traditional black, black and orange design. And I'm going to take a pretty good chunk of this. Now, I am trying to get some glow out of them. And I don't know that it'll reach through the mica powder well. Sometimes it just doesn't. But I have, my first glow powder is Let's Resin Yellow Green, and I wanted to try it in the black. So I'm going to take and put on my little spoon here. I'm going to do 2 spoons. We'll see if I'm able to get any glow out of these. Sometimes it can be tricky to get some glow. But you'll see I'm going to try 2 different things to get the glow going. Again, make sure you mix well because the thicker viscosity resin. I love this resin for coasters, tabletops, things like that. Even though it's not their traditional tabletop resin, it still works really great. Just make sure anytime you make coasters that you let them sit and fully cure before you try to use them. A lot of people will be like, oh, I got ridges and lines from my mugs. And they only let it sit like 5 days. I think that probably I would let it sit for 30 days, even if the manufacturer doesn't say to do that. It's just a safety net for a full cure. All right, there's our black. All right, next we got to add some orange in. So I have this Let's Resin orange, and it's a bright orange. We're going to add a good bit. And then in this one, I have some eye candy, Mizudori green. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I figured we'd try it too. It worked really well with the glow. Again, it's going to fight through the mica powder. This is a big scoop. So I'm just hoping one of these will be able to fight through the mica powder and show some glow. I could also add some transparent with that in there, but my concern is it won't move the crackle effect. It'll affect that. It'll make the transparent too heavy for the mica powder to move through it right. I'm already thinking we're going to have a small crackle effect, not the larger, big crackle effect, but we'll see how it goes. Just have to make sure it's mixed really well. If it's not and you're doing a crackle effect, then you'll just get those like lines of mica powder with no effect whatsoever. That happens sometimes. It can still look cool with those. All right, now, because I'm using this resin and it's bubbly, I'm gonna give it a shot of heat before we start this. This is just my heat gun. I'm gonna let it run for a few seconds and then I'll come in and hit the molds. Oops. You guys see me? My bits are blowing. That's all right. That's all right. My little bits blew. Just get them out of there. Come on. All right. I think I got them all. I think I got them all. That one back in. See if I can get those back in. All right. So we have our first layer in. I'm actually going to stand up to do this so that I can see that we have some sort of center. The one drawback to doing this effect with something I don't want to center in, is they're going to have a center. So we're going to try to minimize it as much as possible. All right, so we're going our crazy black first because we all know pumpkins aren't black. But let's have some Halloween fun. I'm going to try ghosts later on today. Has anyone ever made ghosts? That should be interesting. Move this out of my way so I don't hit it while I try to do this. Let me see if I can scrape some more out of my cup. Might need just a tad for this one. And this one. All right. Now we need transparent again. And I think I'm going to use the darker one I created. I might have mixed too much resin for these molds, but that's okay. I can use it for something else. All right, let's see how it all looks. All right, now we want to put our orange in. All right. I think that's as much of the orange as I can put in. And now we need to do a final little push in the center. I'm just going to do a drop as best I can, because by the time you pick up and put down with thick resin, it's tricky. All right, now I need to go back into my stems since I didn't add resin in the beginning and put resin in there now. And that should also help push some of the black back down. And I think I'll just keep using this one. Again, a little tricky because the resin is thicker. You just have to be a little more exacting, and you guys know I'm not exacting. Kind of messy, not perfect. All right. Now I did debate, I had some glow bits and I debated adding them to the center, but I think I'm not going to do it. I think we're going to leave them like they are. Maybe we'll have a little bit of a center, maybe not. We'll see. But we'll come back when it's time to unmold these, and fingers crossed we got something cool. All right, we're back to check out our Halloween pumpkins. See if they have any sort of Halloween look at all. And when I do the photos, I'll check to see if the glow in the dark worked at all. Oh, wow. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? It is different than what I was doing before. The black really stands out on that. Ooh, I hope the glow works. Yeah, that looks cool, doesn't it? It's more of the traditional holiday Halloween colors. That Crackle is really, really great. The cells are really cool. The black, it's a little harder to see, but the orange cells really stand out. And I really didn't have to do anything fancy to make them stand out. I really like this one. All right, well, wish me luck. I can get the glow in the dark to work. We will see. You'll be able to see in the photos if it did.